All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we have the minutes of January 26th.
I move that we approve the minutes of January 26th.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we have warrants 16 and the payroll 16P.
I'll make a motion to approve bills for payment warrants 16 and 16P.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? Warrant 16 is for $20,973.41. That was going to, among other things, payroll transfers, fuel, highway department repairs and supplies, salt for the highway department, and rescue monthly. Any questions, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We have representatives from Dummerston Cares, and they have a request for some funding using the ARPA program for some projects. And I'll let you have the floor.
We have the floor?
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot my years, so. So we're here to talk about this proposal we put together. And when I was thinking about it today, I thought it's kind of remarkable that we're at a meeting like this tonight with you folks with this proposal. CARES was formed in 2016, and our first couple of years were spent putting together individual services, rides program, medical equipment, loans, heating, fuel, assistance, and so on. And then we got into community programs, did a lot of work, have done, still are, doing a lot of work with the school, the nurse, the social worker, the counselor, and the principal has been involved. And exercise classes, so we started Tai Chi and yoga and had a number of public meetings, Aging Well, Advanced Directives, others. And then the pandemic hit and several of our services went into hibernation. We were able to continue off and on rides programs, and the exercise classes continued by Zoom. And then as we came out of the pandemic, starting last summer, we organized the community picnic at the school. And that was kind of a big deal as far as organization, not only getting the word out, but involving a lot of other organizations, town boards, committees. And now here we are with this project that kind of is kind of an extension of our Chores Corps program. Chores Corps was set up to do minor home repairs for people. So we fix a step railing or pull snow off a roof or those kinds of things. But then we became aware of big projects that we couldn't deal with. A person's well runs dry. There's a septic system issue, or a heating furnace breaks down, and they were out of our league. But then we got to thinking, is there a way we could become involved with situations like that? And we started talking with Sevka because we knew Sevka was getting involved occasionally in some of those kinds of projects. And so starting last fall, we began to think more seriously about it and became aware of ARPA and ARPA money and thought, well, maybe we could get involved in some of those bigger projects. And so over several months, and we ended up with this proposal, which I think, you know, all of you have. And that took a while to think out. I almost threw in the towel myself once or twice because it just seemed not only are these sizable projects to get connected with, but we're an all-volunteer organization. We don't have staff. When you have staff, you can tell the staff person to go off, you do this, that, and 40 other things. If you don't have staff on the select board, you tell the chair of the select board to go off and do all this stuff.
That's not the way we do it.
So anyway, here we are, and we feel comfortable with the program project we put together. We've had a dry run with Sevka with one Dummerston resident whose spring almost went completely dry in late November, and in working with Sevka, you know, we have been able to have this person get a new well. It's drilled, it's working, she's got water, she's happy, and that worked out well. So we know we can do it. Now there are pieces in the proposal that are going to be new to us. You know, if a tree falls on a house, Sevka's not going to be involved. So we need to make figure out pieces like that, and the aging in place parts we need to figure out. We've got a lot of awareness. We've got awareness of who the elderly people in Dummerston are, and some that we can contact about their needs. The fire department's great. Susan's talked with the chief, and between him and some of the folks in the department, that will be pretty easily handled. So we're requesting, you know, from the board $45,000, which with $20,000 of CARES money would make up health what are we? The fund that we're looking to have to help out on some of these projects. So Meg's going to say a little bit about the household emergency part of it, and then Norris will say something about the fire safety and prevention and safety, and I'll comment briefly on the aging in place part. Susan, if there are questions about the money part and how that's going to be managed, can speak to that. So we'll try to keep our remarks brief, and are most interested in questions and comments you folks have.
So one of the things I just wanted to add to what Bill has done a really good job of introducing is that this process has forced us to really look closely at our own mission and our own capabilities. And rather than getting something to you in November, as we originally thought we could do, this has been sort of a journey. It's been an evolving discussion about what can we do well as a volunteer organization without duplicating the efforts of any other organization in town. What are those things that we could uniquely provide to people and still stay within our health and safety mission for Dummerston residents of all ages? And so that's why we've come up with these three areas. Bill's asked me to talk about the home improvement part of this. I just want to say that we were, in a way, the misfortune of this Dummerston resident with this water issue allowed us to really sort of beta test this, if you will, with SEVCA. We've had multiple conversations with one of their staff members who's been there over 20 years. She's been wonderful, and we've also included, she's brought in people from their weatherization program and their home repair project. So we've had a chance to ask them, what are your needs? How can we be helpful? So while we will not be, what we're proposing is that SEVCA will continue to provide the bulk of these funds. But there are times when they either run out of money or they don't have money to do specific things about the project. And that's when they have come to us in the past and came to us most recently. So we're really contributing a very small amount of the whole project. And yet, together, SEVCA and CARES are able to really make something happen that for that individual person, that was really important. Water is a health and safety issue. There's no question about it, particularly in the middle of winter. So what we found with SEVCA is that they possess, over 50 years of experience, and we certainly don't need to duplicate or match that, but we can certainly benefit from that. So the way this particular project worked, as an example, is that they got the contractor, they went in and costed it out, they oversaw the project. We were simply asked to provide the funding, and Bill spoke with the recipient, the actual resident. And so working together, we felt that we made a really good team, and we'd like to be able to continue this sort of thing. Knowing that these monies don't have to be spent by a certain deadline allows us a lot of freedom, if you will, to use the money wisely, to steward it well, but to make it last as long as we can. We're not able with our budget to be able to provide, $1,500 or $2,000 for very long. But with this health and safety fund, we could actually, together with SEVCA and perhaps other partners that come into the picture in the future, we could actually make some important things happen for people who are income eligible. We're not in the business of improving people's real estate. That's not what this is about. It's sort of coming to the rescue when something like this that you didn't count on, crosses your path, and you have to deal with it. So, I think there are two challenges that we have here in Vermont. One is that a lot of people live in older homes, which constantly need upkeep and maintenance and can certainly break down easily, but there's also the harshness of winter that takes its toll on homes. So that's why at least we're asking that the bulk of these monies be designated to this particular area.
The particular area being heating or
No. What we did was we outlined home emergencies, and we were asking $40,000 for that particular bucket, and then the fire prevention is $15,000, and the aging in place assistance is for $10,000.
Okay.
But the home emergencies is really where that's the most expensive part of the work we would be proposing to do.
What's the income eligibility? That's a test. Can you just explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So one of the benefits of working with SEVCA is that they have a system. People have to fill out applications, and they vet the people. So we would not be doing that. And when we asked the same question, like where is the eligibility? And what we learned is that they do not have one universal application that covers all of their programs. So each, whether it's housing assistance or weatherization or they've got so many programs I can hardly keep track of them, but they've got different applications for each one, because we thought, well, we could get a copy of their one application. And so I don't know what the threshold is.
It would vary.
It varies, and then but it's not the sort of form you can fill out in a few minutes. You have to really want to do this and partner with them.
Yeah. Okay.
It takes some effort. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Did I leave anything?
Norris?
Well, actually, Susan was so involved with the fire safety.
Okay, you want me to take
Yeah,
that
I
one?
mean,
Okay.
you have
Well,
more.
At a board meeting, when we were discussing this, Meg came up with the idea of smoke detectors, getting smoke detectors and distributing them to people. And I'm embarrassed that I didn't think of it myself. I recognized it as a great idea. It took a while to research. There are a multitude of different technologies for smoke detectors now. And I researched that and came to the conclusion that ones where you don't have to put in a new battery every 6 months are going to serve us a lot better, because that's one of the problems, is people don't replace the batteries when they should. So there are ones available that have a 10-year battery in them for both smoke detectors and for carbon monoxide detectors. And the ones that I've been looking at have a dual sensor, so that they recognize both smoldering fires and flaming fires. And having done that, then I talked to Chief Lumen and said, what else might we do? And he suggested the throwdown ladders. These are a kind of a chain ladder that hooks over a window, and if you're able to climb out the window, you can climb down the ladder. And those are surprisingly affordable. I thought they'd be several $100s, but they're not. And then I also discussed with Chief Lumen, would fire department personnel be willing to install the detectors for people who need that service, who for one reason or another aren't able to install it themselves. And not only were they cooperative, they were enthusiastic about doing this. I couldn't be more pleased. So that's our proposal there, is to make sure that everybody in town has smoke detectors. We were going to give them out at town meeting. Well, that's not going to happen this year. We're hoping that the town clerk's office will be willing to have a supply of them there, that people can pick them up there, or the fire department would deliver them, or we'll get them to people. We'll publicize it in the Views of Dummerston, and maybe ask the town clerk to send out an email in one of her regular emails that she could make this known. And they'll be free to any resident in town who wants them. We're not going to ask about finances or anything like that. We want everybody to have them, and then if they want to give either CARES or the fire department a contribution, they're welcome to do that. But we're not going there with our hand out.
I was just curious. I think there's a program that the American Red Cross is doing, that they will come in. If you go in, you might want to check on this, where you go in and you put your zip code in, and they will send somebody out. This is a new program that started this year. Send somebody out, check for any kind of fire dangers, and give you a new smoke detector. Are you aware, you guys?
No, I hadn't heard.
So I did a little digging. I just got onto the website quick because somebody mentioned that to me, is you might want to check in the American Red Cross. And so I did, and you could do, I didn't go that far into it, but it might be something that, since that program is already up and running, to see what they're doing. I didn't put much time into it.
Yeah.
But there is one, my understanding, there is one going on with the American Red Cross.
Okay. I would be curious as to whether they're ones where you have to replace the battery every 6 months.
I have no
Yeah.
idea, but it is a program, I think, going, that started this year.
Do they charge?
I don't think so,
No,
but I
okay.
don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
okay.
know the whole thing. I think it's just,
It must be pretty new, because Rick didn't know about it.
No.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think this just started.
Oh,
No, I think this is just very recent,
Okay.
like in the last few weeks. So, but I didn't know anything about it either,
Okay.
until this
Thank
came
you.
up, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, geez. So it might be something to check into.
You know, I can afford to buy a smoke detector like the one you're talking about, but gee, if they're just giving them away at the town office and there's a stack of them there when I go in, you know, I take one, I guess, and people at town meeting are generally people who can take the day off or afford the day off, and so I think the people that might avail themselves of this program are the ones who could likely afford to do this themselves, and just if they had the motivation. The people that wouldn't, you know, that might be stretching their budget to purchase one of these, you know, they might not be going to town meeting or, you know, just stopping by the town clerk's office or, so that's,
I
I'm a little
understand what you're
concerned
saying,
about that.
but I think the tediousness of trying to vet everybody's finances for are you eligible for a free one or not, I don't think it's worth it. And I would like to believe that most people who avail themselves to this but could afford to do it on their own are gonna come up with a contribution to one of the organizations.
In a way, Zeke, what we've done is sort of model this after the government's program to give out COVID tests. You know, Lori gives those out to people who want them on a first come, first served basis, and you know, she's not, what we want to do is keep people healthy. The other point that I'd just like to make is smoke detectors is one of those things easy to forget about until the battery goes off and you're so annoyed by that beeping. But the fact that we're giving them out and we're broadcasting this around town will remind a lot of people, oh, I need to get batteries, or you know what, we can afford one, but we ought to get our own. So I think it's sort of, in a way, it's like a public service announcement going out to Dummerston about the importance of making sure you've got the right equipment in your house and that it's got batteries in it, and if you need an extra one, I mean, maybe somebody's got one, but they need another one for whatever reasons. So it's like vaccinations and COVID tests. It's like, let's, you know, it's a pretty low-cost item to prevent fires. And
Yeah, it is important that everybody has the opportunity to get one. I think that Zeke's point is a good one, that a lot of the people that perhaps that wouldn't be coming in, so it's a matter of broadcasting this fact and making sure that people that maybe don't get out of their house at all are okay, you know, and have one of these, or two of them, whatever it is. So I think that's a good point.
The portion of this program, for the $45,000, this was a $5,000, or how much was this?
This is
15.
Yeah,
15.
15.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I had one other question regarding your aging in place. Okay, had you looked into HUD at all for their grants? Regarding, HUD has a grant, or had a grant, they've had 2 rounds of it. The last one ended in October. I'm wondering if they're gonna do a 3rd one. I think it was 17 million was the last round of grants, and it's for the exact same program for the aging in place assistant for mobility. Have you checked into that at all to see if there's a possibility that HUD's gonna do another round of grants?
no, I mean,
I'm-
did you, Bill?
I'm not aware of those
Okay.
particular grants. The work we've done on aging in place, I think has been done primarily by me. There is a group in town, I don't know if you're aware of it, that's under the aging in place rubric. About 25 people on the east side of town have been organized for about 2 or 3 years with occasional meetings to talk about that subject. And I've done a lot of research in terms of what's happening in other places. Across the country, there's the village-to-village network, and quote, villages are set up like in Dummerston, Maine. Very comprehensive program. There's Monadnock at Home. 12 towns are organized, some 600 members, and they have a range of services, kind of a number of them like what CARES provides, but they're staffed and so on. And you know, this is kind of a mini Bible of what's needed in a home for a person who's getting on in years, particularly people living alone. You know, I cut my teeth on a lot of this with Mary Lou, and now myself. I'm 87 and living alone. And, you know, things that you don't think about when you're younger. I better, you know, when we looked at our bathroom, well, we do need grab bars. Well, one won't do, 2 won't do, 3 are necessary. We need a bar in the bathroom, in the shower, for her to hold on. We need to raise the toilet seat, and so on. Things that you don't think about. But so, you know, we're confident there are people in town who, you know, could benefit by some of these things. We certainly in no way can do all that's required in many homes, but the bathroom is a good place to start, and that's where, you know, falls frequently happen. Mary Lou had 5 falls in her last 2 years, and 2 of them were in the bathroom. And so, you know, if there's grant money, we can certainly look for that, and that might enable us to do more.
That would be,
You know,
yeah,
we've
I will
looked-
check in and see if they will do it, if they're gonna do it.
We've done a little homework on ramps,
Yep,
because we've gotten 2 or 3 requests in the last couple of years for ramps for people a person coming out of the hospital and surgery. And, you know, ramps have to be fit to the house they're providing access to. And so, you know, when you get into those, costs start mounting up. And so anyway, this is kind of a way of dipping our toes into this subject and making, I think at the very, you know, at the outset, we'll get information out and people will begin to become aware of what their situations are. These folks that are in the aging in place group are all young peoples in their 60s and 70s. But, you know, there's no better time to, if you haven't already, to take a look at how mobility in your house works. You know, I'm grateful to be on one floor with everything accessible that way, and only 2 steps to get to the ground outside. But a number of people aren't. And so, anyway, this is the 3rd part of our program.
Both the fire safety and the aging in place, you know, those are potentially very expensive requirements. And I think a lot of what we're attempting to do is to use this as a promotion of people's awareness. You know, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. Think about them, you know. You should, you know, don't ignore it. The same thing with the aging in place. To widen a door to support a wheelchair user can be very expensive, and that's not something that we're proposing to cope with. But this is a way to start a discussion and promote awareness about, you know, it's an issue that with the aging Vermont population is not necessarily to be ignored.
Mark?
Bill and the team, you probably already know about Vermont Council on the Aging has the fund with the heat and electric, and you're granted money.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm familiar with what they did.
They're great, they helped me,
Yeah.
far beyond I ever expected. But the main thing is, I want to say, you're a veteran, correct?
Pardon?
You're a veteran?
No.
Anyway, the veterans meet on Tuesday mornings at the American Legion. We are the most active vet group in the state. There are representatives there, or vets there, who do nothing but help veterans and their families. When you guys are engaging with our neighbors here in town, be sure to ask them if they're a veteran. Bill, you should come to our meetings so you could meet the people who will make the contacts for you to help people through the VA and not touch your funds. And you'll be surprised what's available. I'm on one of the teams that go and actually help a veteran.
Good.
But please come, I'll introduce you to a couple of people. Matter of fact, there's a rep in the Brattleboro area. There's also Sarah Coffey out of Guilford, who is spearheading with us. She's the one that has to do the paperwork. On your death certificate, it's soon to happen. On the bottom, it's going to say, if the veteran dies from the illness that they died from, it will say service related. When this is finally gone through and signed, whatever you are entitled to as a veteran will follow to your children. So the entitlement will continue. We're very active, so please come and visit us.
Yeah, good.
Ask questions, and there's free coffee and donuts too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's-
Anything to help.
You know, we know that we can only do so much as a small volunteer organizations, but it's partnering with other people that really makes a difference.
This will open up doors
Yeah.
for you.
Good.
You'll have no idea what's available nowadays compared to 5 years ago. And good luck on that. And I
Thank you.
expect to see you there Tuesday. Even if I gotta pick you up, sir. Thank you, Zeke.
Anybody have questions? No. So, I guess my sense is we're going to think about this, and maybe you guys will have time to check on the Red Cross smoke alarm program or grants from HUD. So, we're not too pressed for time here, so we'll have time to think this over. If we come up with more questions, we can get back to you. And we'll probably ask you to come back at some point. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Yep.
I think it's Terry, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we met on Zoom.
Yeah,
That was
that's right.
around. So the HUD program that you're talking about, do you know, I mean, HUD, we can go up to the HUD site, but I'm hoping that
That's
you
what I
give me-
did, I just Googled in older adult home modification programs, HUD came right up. It was actually 15 million that just got done the second round, it was in October. And then there was one the year before, so I'm questioning whether there might be a third.
Okay, but it's specifically aging in place.
Yeah,
You
aging in
went
place
to-
through HUD.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and it's made for people with you, like you guys, to apply for those grants.
For nonprofits.
Yeah, for nonprofits to do it, from what I quickly
Okay.
read. I mean, I didn't get into it in depth, because I was just curious to see what was out there.
Yeah,
Yep.
good, thank you for that.
Okay, thank you for coming in and explaining your proposal. Let's see. Okay, back to our regular schedule. Lydia Taft, Pratt Library, sent us a request for funds to repair the door for $295.69. About sending it, you know, it's not a lot, but what if we ask them to sort of talk this over with the community? What are your thoughts? Or we could just say
Where do you
no.
meet on Tuesdays?
I think we should send it back to the library.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yep.
Yep. Okay,
Easy to do.
all right. Do you want to write them a note, Zeke?
I
Okay.
Yeah, I'll forward this to
Okay.
everyone. Okay. The Dummerston Congregational Church was asking if they might be eligible for funds for new tent. What are your thoughts?
Did you see the
You did a
email?
little, you did a little homework.
I did a little homework on that one. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about it.
I am too.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's, I would not, at this point, feel comfortable about approving.
I wouldn't either.
Okay.
Yeah, and the eligibility rules sort of discourage this.
It does, and we'd have to have a signed contract, and we would, I mean, it would open up the Pandora's box.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep,
I will send a note.
okay,
Okay?
all right.
All right, let's see. We have no more visitors? Well.
We have Lee.
We have Lee and we have Mark. Okay. Ready for the road foreman's report?
Okay. So the Vermont grants and annual financial plan, that happens right after town meeting, and nothing from the state will get a hold of us, and that's where we come up with the amount for the emergency grants, the thresholds,
Yeah,
on those kind of things.
right. And that's based on the amount that we have in the highway fund.
Yeah, I think it's based on summer maintenance.
Okay.
Or, that side of the budget. Yes. And to go along with that, we are hoping to apply still for the paving grant, or the Class 2 grant on that. On the structures grant, we're very low on the list. So, I don't think the engineering will be done by then anyway, so it's going to be the following year for that structure. Curb cut on Kelly Road.
Can I go back to the structures?
Oh, yeah.
The engineering, you've got Leonard Road
Yes,
going?
that's the one. And so you voted on doing the engineering. So once that's done, then we can go out to bid and find out a price.
Okay.
Right, we authorized for those 3 projects, but nothing's, we haven't expended anything out of it.
Right, and I don't know if this is a good time, but he did send the other ones, I think it was today or last night, the other 2 projects, so you'll see an email on the next 2.
Okay.
I knew you couldn't approve them, tonight, but I figured I'd give you a couple of weeks to look them over and see. But that was for Park Lawton Road.
Right.
And for Johnson's Curve Road. And the prices are on there also.
It's actually in the highway.
It's in the highway, I saw them briefly, but.
Yeah, I think, I don't know more into it actually, but
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
And I did have a couple of questions after I just read them tonight for the first time, so.
Do you have a couple questions for him?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't think the price is gonna change, but it might be worded a little different and there's some things like that on, detours and things. But I'm hoping to get those approved for next meeting.
Add it to the agenda.
Okay, so, let's start with the easier one. The new truck is here. We ended up picking it up on Friday. Louis used it today and last night for a little salting. So far, so good. We have not got the bill yet, or at least as of when I left today. So that will probably end up being next meeting to
Sure.
out of the capital
Yeah.
plan.
Charlotte thought it might be in for tonight, but
Oh, okay.
I guess it didn't come.
Yeah, yeah, it comes from the bigger parent company, and so it takes a little longer to get. To go along with that truck, now we can sell the old one. I did look a little bit on Craigslist and on Facebook Marketplace there to see if there's like comparable trucks to find a price, and I really don't see anything. There's very few of those trucks. So I'm having a hard time, like, do we do, just example, $20,000 of best offer, and all the prices have to be in 1 month, or all, I don't want to say bids, but I guess it would be bids. Or do you set a price and go with it? I'm not really sure. I don't.
What do other towns do that sell them outright?
Ooh.
Most turn them in?
Well, I think I've seen them on Craigslist from different towns. Yeah, a lot of them turn in.
Well, what was the price that, were they going to make you an offer from the dealer?
Yeah, 12.5.
12.5, yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth more than that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely the bodies, the chloride has taken its toll on it.
Yeah.
With the chloride tank, and to try to remedy that, we bought an old bed liner, and we're gonna put the chloride tank in it. When we put it in the truck, to try to keep the chloride as much as possible out of the truck.
I used to have to wash mine every time I did chloride. That was a requirement for my job. Take out the pressure washer and do the whole friggin' truck.
Yeah.
And that helps save it.
Yeah, it's very corrosive. So if I'm open for suggestions. I don't think we have until July before we really need the money, or if we want to think about it for a couple of weeks before we put an ad in, we can do that. I'll do some more checking but I am going to ask. There might be somebody in the highway department who wants to give a price on it. So I want everyone to be in agreement
Right.
with what we decide.
Okay.
It's not me, but I think it wouldn't be a bad truck.
Sure. So if you maybe do some more
Yep.
looking
Yeah.
around, so you get a good sense of what we might be able to put it. How about a for sale sign in the window and park it at the town office,
Right.
in front of the
Yeah.
town office?
Right, I think anything like that, I put it on Craigslist and
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Does
If
it
we were
worry-
gonna set a price, or even if you like that idea of doing the price, like a minimum bid, and then waiting. I mean, first come, first served is kinda nice,
Yeah.
as far as it's, we set a price somebody comes and pays you, they got it.
I prefer the setting a price, actually agreeing on
You
it.
do?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that as far as like ease.
yeah.
And then we can always vote to lower the price if
Yep.
we decide we need to.
Sure.
Right.
So how can you find out something between 12.5 and 20? Where
Yeah,
how are you gonna?
Right.
Right, and I was gonna call the Dodge place and just see, like,
Yep.
if they had it, what would they start at? If they're willing to do that. You know, it's crazy, but most of them are like 30,000. But they have diesel motors, most of them.
And this is the 1-ton?
Yeah, it's a Dodge 5500.
Yeah.
Has a dump bed with a plow, 9-foot plow.
Yep.
The plow's in really good shape.
But it's gas. not
But it's
diesel.
That's gas.
It's gas, which is, right now, that wouldn't bother me except if you were gonna go cross-country pulling something or something like that, you know, but for driveways and those kind of things, it's got plenty of power.
Okay, so anyone watching, they should
Right,
just
exactly.
give you a
Exactly,
call.
Sorry.
Make an offer.
50 grand and it's yours.
Yeah.
Do you have a spec sheet on that truck, Lee?
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah, we'll have the, everything that came with the truck, with the build sheet and all that stuff.
Can I pick it up from Lori sometime?
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while to get it,
I've been
but we're gonna make copies. I just gotta figure out what I want on that copy, you know, cause it's a bunch of material. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you, sir.
yep. Yep. Okay, so, coming up, I don't know if you've noticed that big tree on, we call it Water Trough Corner, but by, Joe Little's, down on Middle Road, that big oak that's dead, that's hanging over the road.
Mhm.
I believe it might be scheduled in for next week to take that down.
Okay.
Kind of working through schedules. But it's multiple people who've mentioned it, and I've looked at it a few times, and it's just, it's time. And it's a real large tree. Been doing a lot of the oil changes, probably saw in the bills, pretty much changed the oil and everything. All the maintenance. They're still working on the tree cleanup from that storm a couple weeks ago. Pretty much getting it all. You'll see, I don't think it was on this warrant, but there's a, our other Dodge, the 2017, that hydraulic pump went in that. And so there'll be a $4,000 bill coming from that.
Who was that from?
L&B.
Okay,
It's not on this one.
okay.
We picked it up today, so it's just a matter of if,
It'll be in the next warrant.
all right.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the ARPA, we were talking about doing the covered bridge decking. And I was thinking not this summer, but the following summer. And it figures out to be about 6,500 feet of lumber, white oak. Cliff Aller was looking up what he has for logs there, because it'd be nice to get them milled this summer, and then it'd be drying, and then install them next year. But with that said, that's going to be, he didn't give a price yet, but just to get the oak, I think it's gonna be, you know, 25 or more. You want me to go to like Perkins or WW also and get prices for our policy of,
So you're still thinking about you guys putting this together, or are we going out to bid and have somebody come in and review it?
either way, I'm still thinking of us doing it as far as, I've talked to Dan Jenks, we've looked at it. And we were thinking a week or 5 days of the town crew and his crew. Pulling it all up and putting it down. That was just, you know, an option. I'm not saying that's what has to be done. Or it's not gonna hurt my feelings if we put it out to bid and have somebody handle the whole thing. But I think that's gonna be the least amount of money if we're gonna do it that way. It's just a matter of finding the, you know, during the summer, of course with no school, and when we're not working on grants and those kind of things, you know, trying to arrange that schedule.
That's why I would think it would be better to put it out to bid.
Yeah,
And then if your schedule allowed, like with Dan, if your schedule allowed, if you could have somebody helping him, that would just help reduce the cost of it, but I think it would be better if you just, I think,
Yeah, great.
okay,
then you wouldn't have to stress over it. trying
right,
to get it
right.
done.
It's gonna be the hard, well, not the hardest thing, but it's gonna be just the signage for it being closed and the
Right.
grief you get
Yeah,
from that alone.
Yeah.
Because it won't be able to, right now, I don't believe it will be able to be opened, you know, during
The
the
construction.
night.
Yeah.
right.
You know, once it's closed, and I know Dan was talking about, you know, these guys would work later, you know, or work a longer day to try to get it done. But, okay. And I might just see what his feelings are, if we should, or if the contractor should deal with you know, and deal with getting everything they do need.
I would think that they would want to.
Right. Right, I just, yeah. Yeah.
So you think you can put that out to bid this spring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I really don't know a whole lot of contractors that do that kind of, besides, you know, we do have the contractors who worked on the bridge. And then, I don't know of any other real carpenters that have a fairly good sized crew. Cause I would like to put in there, you know, they got a week, you know, of it closed.
Yeah.
I hate to have it closed over the weekend. For that.
Right, it was Renault who did it last time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did contact him to find out the, because I couldn't find where we had it, like, you know, the board feet and the, you know, thickness. So he's the one who told me it was 3 inches.
It was 3 inches.
Yes.
Yeah.
3 inches.
I remember if you went off, it was sort of like, you really knew you were going off.
You were going off, yeah, boom.
Not so much now.
Do the old boards have any value, by the way? I mean, can they be used like in construction or something?
All right, the only reason I don't think so is
Yeah.
because of the dirt
Okay.
ground into them.
Yeah, yeah.
We could use,
But otherwise, they're still probably 2 inches thick. You know,
Yeah.
they're still fairly thick. They're just,
Were they flipped at one point?
Yeah, they
we
were
haven't
flipped.
Yeah.
You know, because the counter sinkholes wouldn't work, because it's actually, I don't know why he did countersink it, but when we countersunk it, it was, we even went deeper
Yeah.
to reset the bolts. And that's the biggest worry with that whole thing is the bolts. You know,
Coming out.
getting somebody's tire,
Right.
and then it would be a nightmare. Okay.
That sounds
Okay.
like all
Yeah.
the more reason to put it out to bid.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Lee, would it make good firewood for the wood pantry for the church?
I don't know. I don't want to run my chainsaw through it.
If you want to measure that, I have a cutoff piece, fresh cutoff piece of when that was installed.
You do?
Yes, sir, I do.
Wow.
So
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind checking just to make sure it's 3 inches, but I'm pretty confident, but I didn't actually peel the board out to make sure, so.
I'll measure the piece at home and I'll send you a text.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, so that was, the funding, I guess we're all set on that, or we're kind of planning on that. The other, thing that our outdoor boiler is leaking water more. Terry mentioned that might be something for ARPA. So, it's 2013, so it's, you know, however way you want to look at it, not 9 or 10 years old. It isn't stainless or anything like that, the inside chamber, which the new ones are. Right now, we're adding water probably like every other, or not every other week, but every week and a half, maybe 100 gallons, maybe 50 gallons, somewhere in there. So it's something that
How much are they running?
What's that?
How much are they running now?
23, 4 or something, and then if you figured installed, and that was before he knew it was for a town. So that was a price for me. I explained it to his secretary or whatever, and she never passed it on that it was for a town. And he goes, well, why are you going out to bid? And I'm like, because.
Yeah, it's gotta go out to bid, because,
Right,
yeah,
right,
it's over the 10.
And I'm still doing some research on maybe there's a different one that's better. I heard Jared Bristol, fire chief, he works for Green Mountain Power. He has one that's so far. I have to talk to him.
So will this hold you until spring?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So while you're researching the covered bridge and figuring that out, why don't you research out your
Right.
outdoor boiler?
Right.
Yep.
And would you like me to, once we figure it out, go out to bid on that too? And then get the prices back and then we decide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
I mean, it's not gonna hurt to go out and if it's
No.
something we can't do, we can't do
We
it.
just don't accept the bid, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that is it on this list, unless you have something else.
We've got a curb cut here
Oh, yes.
on Kelly Road.
Yep. That is good. It's to a barn, different things. If you haven't been up there, I think it's gonna be quite a place in a couple of years. They're doing quite a bit of work there. It's right out at the very end of Kelly Road.
Need a motion on that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to move that we approve the curb cut permit on 623 Kelly Road.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The date today is the
The
8th.
Let's see.
February. Okay, that's done. Okay, anything else for Lee?
Nope.
Okay, great. Lee, thank you for coming in.
All right.
Thanks, Lee.
You guys have a good night.
You too. Okay. No FEMA update, is there?
No, there's nothing, yeah.
Great. Under correspondence for information, is there anything you'd like to discuss? No. Okay. Let's see. New business, ARPA updates, any?
I'm still waiting on, community center to get back to me on, or to give us the stuff on the pressure tank and the hot water heater. That's, Rick just got permission from the board the other night to go ahead and do all that and
Yep.
start going through some stuff. And they're gonna be making up a list at some point here as they get together and then come to us with requests. But those, that's the only thing I can think of off the top. We've already kind of taken care of the other stuff up above. Except for Dummerston Cares.
Okay. Okay. Well, how about an update regarding the PACIF building inspection?
Okay, so I met with Wade
Yep.
for both buildings and it went well, and he'll be sending down a, inspection report. You know, we haven't seen it, I haven't seen it yet come through.
Okay.
So the office, but it seemed to go pretty well. I mean, nothing really,
Nothing big change?
nothing big, I mean, not that we, anything here. I mean, the fire extinguishers and stuff have to be upgraded and stuff, but that was already stuff that was already in our inspection report. So, yeah, the other thing that we were talking about was, in the lease to the community center, they were supposed to have a separate liability policy.
Mhm.
And Wade was questioning that. So I've asked Ann Davis to get a certificate of insurance. They should be providing us with that every year anyway. And then I'm gonna connect with Wade and talk to an underwriter, because Wade would like to see how that their liability policy works with our PACIF, or if it's really not even needed. So when I get the certificate of insurance, I'll get back in touch with Wade and we'll work it through. So at least we get an understanding, and PACIF has an understanding of what this is.
Okay, for this building.
For this building, yes.
Okay,
Yep,
okay,
so it'll be a while.
all right, good. Thanks for doing that.
Yep.
And the town office and garage.
That, Wade's gonna check in with Lee and set up another time. He only had
Okay.
time to do this one and the Historical Society.
Oh, the Historical Society.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Zoom information meeting. We've got it set up for Wednesday, March 1st. This is, we're going to have an Australian ballot again. We're going to have a Zoom information meeting, March 1st at 7 o'clock. I think the information is on the website and it will be on our agendas. So,
Right.
I don't know if Lori put it on the website yet or not.
I don't think,
Yeah.
I didn't see it as yesterday.
right. I think-
Right. The only question that has come up that Roger sent us an email about was, BCTV was wondering whether we wanted to live stream it or if we wanted to just do the link to the YouTube. So my thought was we didn't live stream it last year. We
Okay,
just had them record it like a regular meeting and then link it. It automatically gets linked to YouTube anyway, and then on their BCTV website.
Yeah.
So is that what we want to do?
I think what worked last year.
Okay,
Okay.
so there's no live stream, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I'll do is I'll email Roger and back and let him know, and
Mhm.
BCTV, Elena,
Great,
can explain it, yeah.
okay. and we'll get the information out. I'm sure Lori will be sending it
Sending it
out.
out.
It'll be on the website. And people can zoom in and we'll go over all the articles
Yes.
on the warning, take questions, explain. We can go line by line down the budget.
Down the whole budget,
Yep.
yes.
And with whatever questions people have. Let's see, the candidates, we have a contested select board race, and we'll invite the two candidates to have some opening remarks, introduce themselves, and we have a school board candidate.
That wanted to speak, yeah.
Yeah,
And I've talked to Rick Lumen and gave him all the information to come to if there's any questions about the fire truck.
good,
So he's all set.
all right.
Trying to think, I think the rest is in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, and if people don't want to zoom in, there'll be a telephone number that they can
Call in.
and ask questions and listen to it, and BCTV will have it up, so watch it at your leisure
At your leisure.
afterwards.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah,
So, and then, right now, Lori, the town clerk, is ready to send out ballots to anyone who requests them starting on March 15th. Is what- February 15th. Yeah,
You have to
that's-
say that the voting be all over, but that's okay.
That
I know.
also has left the
We
station.
want spring bad, I get it, I get it, yeah. But she said don't go over before the 15th.
February,
Yeah, on-
February 15th.
February
Yeah,
15th,
February
right.
15th.
Yeah.
And she can mail ballots to people.
Yep.
If they can mail them back or drop them off. And if they prefer to vote in person, the town office will be open on March 7th, Tuesday,
Right.
March 7th, from 8 to 7.
7, that's right.
And people can go in and vote their ballot then. And they'll be voting for all the officers, the treasurer and town clerk and select board members.
Budgets, the fire truck,
Everything.
candidate, everything.
Whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards will be on that ballot. Yep,
Yep, and an advisory, non-binding advisory.
that's right, and
Yes.
non-binding advisory.
There's something for everyone on this
Yes,
ballot.
there is. We put the kitchen sink in with this one.
So, once again, February 15th is when Lori will start sending ballots out.
Right.
If they're,
They can call her
Request.
or email her
yep.
to get one, or stop in
Or
and pick it
stop
up
in.
and, yep.
Yep. Okay, anything more on that?
I think that covers it. I'll get a hold of them.
Okay, great. Well,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Yes.
okay. Good. So I have a little grid here so I could mark off motions.